Don't stop now. Don't stop now. Jeez.
Thank you so much, and welcome to the final concert of the Hopuseblends International Tour. By popular request, we are going to devote most of this concert, I'm sure that you already know this, to Italian opera. We have spared no expense in bringing to this concert none other than Enrique Luciano Domingo, Amy. If you will be kind enough to allow our orchestra to tune up, we would like to present Giuseppe Verdi's La Donna Mobile.
Boom, blink, blink, boom, blink, blink, boom, blink, blink, boom, blink, blink.
La donna è mobile, qual firma il vento, muta d'accento e di pensiero.
Boom, blink, blink, blinky, blink, boom, blinky, blink, boom, blinky, blink.
Sempre un mobile, leggero viso, impianto riso e menzognero. La donna è mobile, qual piuma al vento, muta d'accento e di pensiero. La 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 e di pensiero.
La la boom, Well, I'd like to, good evening. I'm Jim McGuire, part of the Hopuseblends, and we wanted to start this finale concert off with a bang. And so I'm sure you've heard of that famous Italian three tenors, you know, Pavarotti and his buddies. Well, it happened to be the most classical, famous act ever of classical music. So we placed a call to Italy. They weren't available. So after hours of searching for a worthy substitute, I finally checked our own busy schedule. Yes, 3 of us were available. So after many hours of practice, I'd like for you to give a big welcome to Hopuseblends 3 tenors singing O Sole Mio, accompanied by virtuoso Russ Cladco.
Cosa narir notte sole, narir serena dopo una tempesta, per aria fresca, a regia una festa, che bella cosa. cosa nadie note, oh
Mannato sole, più belle ne, oh sole mio, stan fronte a te. Oh
sole, sole mio, stan fronte a te, stan fronte a te.
Love is a flower that blooms so tender, each kiss a dewdrop of sweet surrender. Love is a moment of life enchanting. Let's take this moment that this night is granting. There's no tomorrow when love is new. Now is forever when love is true. So kiss me and hold me tight. There's no tomorrow. There's just tonight.
Thank you, thank you. Lest you were afraid will be all Italian opera tonight, we are now going to pivot to Christmas. You may go, why Christmas? Well, there's a very good reason for that. December was always Hopuseblends' busiest time of the year. It seemed like every December we were running from one gig to the next. And as a result, our Christmas library grew and grew, and so we wanted to share a selection from that library with you. This is a very special selection because it was written by our own Doug Amy. It's a very fine composition in the madrigal style. We liked it so much, we named our Christmas CD after it. This is called Merrily Christmas.
Merrily ring the Christmas bells, for Christmas time is here. Fa la la,
Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la, fa la la la, fa la la la.
Baby Jesus born one night in a lowly stable shed.
While high above the star shone bright, angels host kept watch o'er his bed.
fa la la,
Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la, fa la la la, fa la la la. Celebrate the baby's birth with happiness and joy. Fa la la la, fa la la la. The love of God come down to earth, the baby Jesus boy. Fa la 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 la, fa la la la, fa la 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 la.
we bring to Jesus the baby King when we give to those we love. When we give our gifts at Christmas time, He blesses us from above.
Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la, fa la la la, fa la la la, fa la la la.
Merrily ring the Christmas bells and sing the songs of cheer. When every heart knows the gift of love,
We'll have Christmas all through the year. Merrily ring the Christmas bells, for Christmas time is here. Fa la la fa la la la, fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la.
Fa la la la, fa la la la, fa la 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 la, fa la la la, fa la la la, fa la la la, fa la la la.
Merrily ring,
Merrily ring,
merrily ring,
Merrily ring,
ring the happy Christmas bells. Merrily ring the Christmas bells, for Christmas, Christmas time is here. Merrily ring the Christmas bells, for Christmas time is here. Ding dong, ding dong.
When we designed this program, we wanted to give our final concert, if you didn't realize, we wanted to give all of the members, all four of us, and our wives, a chance to express some of the experiences and memories during this 24-year journey. I get to be first. First of all, I want to thank God for giving me the talent to be able to sing, and for the 90 years, the chance to use it. So I've done my best. I want to thank Sue for the 62 years that we've been married, that's supporting us, me and the group, with everything. So I have a couple of stories I want to tell. A couple of years after we first got started, we were invited to attend a competition of new quartets for Subsqua. Now, if you're not familiar with that, it's an acronym that says, and I got to read my notes here, Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of Barbershop Quartets in America. Well, 11 quartets showed up. And we did our thing, competition, sang our song, and afterwards the judges came around and judged. Well, they announced it. We were number 11th. What went wrong? Well, afterwards, one of the judges offered to critique us. And, you know, we're curious as to what in the world's going on. So sure enough, he came down and he pointed out Doug. And he said, Doug, you've got a good voice, but you really do need to take voice lessons. About this time, Doug began to swell up, about ready to burst wide open, steam coming out of his ears, but he didn't say a word until after we got outside the room. Now, here's the second part of that story. About a couple of weeks later, they, or either a sister group, I think it was the same group, called and said, would you guys come back and attend one of our rehearsals? We'd like to see more of what you can do different than barbershop harmonies. And so we, with pride, went back, and believe it or not, they really did love it. So they learned something, and we gained humility.
It was a computer glitch.
Okay. Oh, by the way, it was a computer error, by the way. We really were better than the 11th. At least it said so. Okay, here's the other story. We had a paid gig over in the Benicia Yacht Club, and we did that. And afterwards, as people were going out, they said, by the way, there's a bar upstairs. Why don't you guys go up there and, you know, have a drink or either sing or whatever. So we did, and sang a couple of songs. And next thing you know, they were passing the hat. Can you sing more? And sure enough, we sang some more, and they passed the hat again. That one gig was one of our most profitable because the money downstairs and the money upstairs was very handsome, and we were very happy to do that little gig. Okay, now to introduce our next song. It's a story about a father or a grandfather saying goodbye to his son that's going off into the armed services, and he's hoping that he'll be alive to be able to greet him when he returns. I personally have been through this as My mom and I sent my father and his two brothers off to World War II. And luckily, all three came back, but my father was seriously burned. And again, my parents sent me off to the Air Force for 6 years. And again, we sent our two grandsons, one to the Marines for 6 years and the other to Army Ranger, and he's still an active duty Ranger today. So with all of that, we would like to sing Danny Boy.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you who must go, and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. It's I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you
So
I love you so.
But when ye come and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead, as dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me, and I shall hear the softly tread above, and on my grave will warm a sweeter be, for you will bend and tell me that you love, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me.
Oh, Danny boy,
Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. I love you so.
Oh, Danny boy, I love you so.
Are you using notes? Oh. Okay.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Sue McGuire, Jim's wife. Is it there? Is that better? Okay. Sue McGuire. I'm very happy to be here. Jim has always loved to sing, And in the 62 years that we've been married, going to many different churches, the very first thing we would do is join the choir. And when we came here and the four guys decided to get together and have a quartet, I was thrilled and excited. And through the years when they were practicing so many times, I didn't mind at all. It gave me time to go visit good friends like Pat Brumley and Helen T., Mid Sunston, and many others. And it also gave me time to spend with our three children, Jimmy, Michelle, and Michael, and our four grandsons. And through the years, their harmony just kept improving. And I just was so thrilled when the wives would be invited to go along and join it. We had many, many fun trips. And one of them that's very dear to my heart is they decided to go to Sacramento to sing for my niece's wedding. And our whole family was so excited about that. And they were the top attraction for the reception that day. And there were just many others, but I just thank God for bringing these four guys together and helping them to have so much fun, working hard, but I think they really enjoyed what they were doing. And I want to take this time to let everybody know that our dear friend, Mid Sunston, who is 100 years old, has made a special effort to come and see us the first time she's been out in 2 years. Midge, that is such an honor, and we love you so dearly. It's wonderful to see your smiling face.
Well, we gave you a sample of our Italian opera library, and we gave you a sampling from our barbershop library with Danny Boy that we just did, and we gave you a sampling from our Christmas library, and now we're going to move over into our doo-wop library. One of our favorite styles. It's a lot of fun to sing. Is Doris Roddick here today? Did she make it here today? That's too bad. She didn't make it. Well, sorry? Her daughter's here.
Is Nancy
okay,
here?
Great. Doris is one of our biggest fans. She couldn't make it today, but this is her favorite Hopuseblends song, so that's why we chose this song. It was written in 1932 by America's beloved Richard Rodgers. It's been recorded many times. Every time it's recorded, I think it's a big hit song. This is Hopuseblends' big hit version of
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own.
bow 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 dang a dang dang a ding a dong bing blue moon blue moon blue moon did 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 moon blue moon blue moon did 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 moon blue moon blue moon did 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 bow 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 dang a dang dang a ding a dong ding.
You saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own.
Dang a dang dang, oh ding a dong ding.
You knew just what I was there for. You heard me say, wherefore.
Someone I really could care for.
Wow, 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 wow.
And then there
Suddenly appeared before me,
the only
one my arms could ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had
had turned to gold.
Blue moon, now I'm no longer alone.
Without a dream in my heart,
Without a love of my own.
and then there suddenly there appeared before me the only one my arms could ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, won't you please adore me? And when I looked,
The moon had turned to
the moon had turned to gold.
blue moon. Now I'm no longer alone.
without a dream in my heart,
Without a love of my own.
I think I'll come up to this level, though. I'm going to leave this with you. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Pam Abbey, and I am married to Kent Parr, the baritone. I also happened to be the pastor here in the year that this group formed. So that's a whole nother story. And we're all here today because we love the sounds of Hopuseblend, right? And as one of my favorite sounds from those early years is I remember them standing up in the balcony singing Spirit of the Living God, Fall Afresh on Me in 4-part harmony, a cappella. It was just great. So that's one of my favorite memories. Unfortunately, they don't get asked to do that on the party circuit too much. So, but all of us who are Hopuseblend wives and significant others have had the experience of hearing the sounds of rehearsal, because at one time or another, they've rehearsed in all of our homes for short periods or long periods. And for a number of years previous to the pandemic, Tuesday nights were at our house. So I would usually go to a yoga class, and then I'd come home and I would just schlep upstairs to my office and work up there while they did their thing downstairs. So I could hear most stuff. I could hear these beautiful dulcet tones much of the time, but not all of the time. I could hear beautiful music interspersed with arguments, and then more beautiful music interspersed with arguments. And then later in the evening, they would, when they got all finished after 2 hours or so, they would stop for refreshments, which was always popcorn and beer. So I always needed to come down and join them, and I really loved it, partly because it caught me up on all the gossip from this congregation. So then the question was, how do we let Pam know that it's time for the popcorn and beer? Well, I probably could have figured it out because I wouldn't be hearing beautiful music and arguing anymore. But first they tried hollering up the stairwell, and then there was texting. But finally, Bill came up with the perfect answer, which is upside down in here. It was the beer bell. So one of my favorite sounds from my Hopuseblend years is down at the bottom of the stairs. So it's been a ride, and I will miss all the singing and the arguing and the popcorn. So thank you, guys.
Thanks, honey. Well, we just did a doo-wop song, and then we're going to do a couple of gospel songs. But the next song is one that's, it's what happens when you mix a little bit of doo-wop into your gospel and you come out with something like this. When the trumpet of the Lord shall sound, and time will be no more, and the morning breaks eternal, bright and fair. When the chosen ones shall gather to their home beyond the shore, when the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there, I'll be there. On that bright and cloudless morning, when the dead in Christ shall rise, and the glory of his resurrection shed, when the saved ones shall gather to their home up in the sky, when the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there, I'll be there. Let us labor for the Master from the dawn till setting sun. Let us talk of all his wondrous love and care. And when all of life is over and our work on earth is done, when the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there.
Roll is called up yonder.
You'll be there.
Roll is called up yonder.
I'll be there. Ooh, bop. We'll all be there. Bop.
Thank you, thank you. This brings us to the last song of the first half, but make sure you come back for the second because we've left all of our smoking stuff for the second half. There'll be a 15-minute intermission, and we are giving away CDs. We can't take any more money, so if you feel compelled to pay for them, they will be going to the Heifer Project, which is an international World Hunger Program. And if there's instructions in the back, and the table will be manned by David Petty. David, are you here? Could you stand up? Okay, there's David. And this segues into our next piece here because before Houseblend, we had another quartet with Jim and Kent and me and David. And this next song we actually sang together. And so David has come all the way from Portland to be here at our last show when he was kind of here at the beginning as well. So we appreciate that very much. This is also a gospel song, and gospel songs are kind of about a hopeful crossing over. And I'm sure everybody has in their hearts somebody recently that has crossed over. The Queen of England, if nobody else, and my wife's own dear Aunt Barbara. So we dedicate this all to those.
I'm going to
Ride the chariot in the morning, Lord.
I'm going to
Ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm getting ready for the judgment day. My Lord, my Lord.
I'm going to
Ride the chariot in the morning, Lord.
I'm going to
Ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm getting ready for the judgment day. My Lord, my Lord.
Are you ready, my brother? Oh, yeah. Are you ready for the journey?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to see your Jesus?
Oh, yes. I'm waiting for the chariot because I'm ready to go.
I'm going to ride
the chariot in the morning, Lord.
I'm going to
Ride the chariot in the morning, Lord.
I'm getting ready.
I'm getting ready for the judgment day. My Lord, my Lord. Are you ready, my sisters? Are you ready for the journey? Do you want to see your Jesus? I'm waiting for the chariot because I'm ready to go.
I never shall forget that day.
Ride in the chariot to see my Lord.
When all my sin was taken away.
Ride in the chariot to see my Lord.
My feet were snatched from the miry clay.
Ride in the chariot to see my Lord.
I'll serve my Lord till the judgment day.
Ride in the chariot to see my Lord.
I'm going to ride
Ride the chariot in the morning, Lord.
I'm going to
Ride the chariot in the morning, Lord.
Getting
Getting ready for the judgment day. My Lord, my Lord. I'm gonna ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. Ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm gonna ride the chariot to see my Lord, to see my Lord.
That last number was what I call the Jack DeGarmo bass slide.
No kidding. I looked over at you. I was afraid you were going to give me that look like you smelled something.
Nope.
Well, thanks for coming. That's great.
That's very good. Did I see Bob here somewhere?
Might be. Yeah, he might have come for a little bit. I know he's got a thing, but yeah.
Thing?
He has a couple of things. My voice is a little tired. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the second half is about to begin. If you would kindly take your seats. Hey there, everybody. What's going down? I heard House Blend is back in town, so let the good times roll and let it roll over you. Yeah, because there ain't no doubt about it. Get together and let the good times roll.
Hey there, everybody. Let's have some fun. Here, House Blend. We're gonna get it on.
Sweet mama, yes, pretty mama. Sweet mama, let the good times roll. So let it roll, let it roll, let it roll, roll, let it roll, let it roll, let it roll, roll, let it roll, let it roll, let it roll, roll, let it roll, let it roll, let it roll.
Get together and let the good times roll.
So let it roll, let it roll, let it roll, and let it roll, let it roll, let it roll, and let it roll, let it roll, let it roll, and let it roll, let it roll, let it roll, let it roll. I don't care if you're young or old, father, mother, sister, brother, I don't care.
I don't care if you're old.
We don't care if you're young or old. Get together and let the good times roll. Oh, yeah. Come together with House Blend and let the good times roll. Thank you. Thank you. Let's let the good times roll. Over the years, we have accomplished a lot of things we're very proud of, and I could give you a long list. I'm going to give you the short list. We've won some nice awards at some competitions. We've put out 4 CDs. We've performed at some pretty fabulous venues in the Bay Area and Sacramento. So I'm not going to list them all now, but with all the accolades that we've had, it's become very difficult for us to remain humble. Oh, Lord, it's hard.
Yes, it's
Hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. Oh, so perfect, I can't wait to look.
How's it
Get better looking each day. To know me is to love me. I guess I'm a heck of a man. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can.
I used to have a girlfriend, but I guess she just couldn't compete with all the love-starved women just clamoring around my feet. I guess I could get me another, but they're all in all
Just in all.
who cares? I never get lonely, 'cause I treasure my own company.
Don't ba-da, don't ba-da, don't ba-da, don't
Now try not to get too discouraged. Put your jealousies up on the shelf. It's not fair to try to compete with a rock star such as myself. Please try to look past my perfection. Now don't look at me with such awe. It's not my fault that I was created without one little dang tiny flaw. Tiny flaw. Oh Lord, it's hard.
Yes, it's hard to be humble.
Oh, so
When you're perfect in every
Oh, so perfect I can't wait to look.
Yeah.
Get better looking each
I
day.
can't wait. It's so
To know me is to love me.
very.
I guess I'm
a heck of a man.
Yes, it's hard.
Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble,
but I'm doing the best that I can.
Now some people say I'm a loner, a cowboy outlaw, true in pride. I could have all the friends that I want to, but you wouldn't stand out in my crowd. Now some people say I'm egotistical. I don't even know what that means.
What's that mean?
But it probably has something to do with the way that I fill out my skin-tight blue jeans.
Blue jeans.
Okay, everybody, sing with us now. Here we go. It's hard, yes, it's hard to be humble.
Oh, so
when you're perfect in
every. Can't
Oh, so
wait.
perfect
I can't wait to look in the
can't wait to look.
Yeah.
Cause I get better looking each day. To know me,
To know me is to love me.
Very
know
good.
this.
I guess I'm a heck of a man.
Yes, it's
Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble,
but I'm doing the best that I can.
doing the best.
Doing the best.
doing the best
that
I can. Thank you. Yes, it's true. We have done a lot of things. We have made 4 CDs. It took a long, somebody asked Don Nelson one time, coach of the Warriors, when he was coming up on all-time wins, what his secret was, and he said, well, if you hang around long enough, you get a lot of wins. Same thing with us. We've hung around for a long time, 24 years. That's over twice as long as the Beatles were together. Has anybody here even been married for 24 years? Yeah, you see my point though, right? I mean, it's you look at us, you can see how it would happen. I mean, we have a combined age of 300. To be fair, most of that is Jim. We've hung around a long time, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we've been married to the same women for 126 years. We should get an applause for that, yeah. Thank you. Once again, most of that is Jim. The point that I'm trying to make here is that it takes its toll, and this next song is about just that.
Do you need help? No. Come on, old man.
This is the only song I don't have to act in. Hard, yes, it's hard to get older.
I was perfect back
back in my day.
Oh, so perfect.
I see when I look in the
See when I look.
I'm older than yesterday. To know me is to wonder. Will he make it through the day?
Oh my God.
Oh Lord, it's hard to get older. They all look at me and say, too old, he done got too old. He's too old to cut the mustard anymore. He's getting too old. He done got too old. He's too old to cut the mustard anymore. When I was young, I had lots of pep. I could get around, I didn't need much help. But now that I'm old and I'm getting gray, the people look at me and say, too old, he done got too old. He's too old to cut the mustard anymore. He's getting too old. He done got too old. He's too old to cut the mustard anymore. When I was young, all the girls would sigh every time that I walked by. Now that I'm old, don't ask me why. When I walk by, they start to cry. When I was young, I could run a mile, never tire, I had lots of style. Now when I change the TV dial, I have to sit and rest a while. Too old, he done got too old. He's too old to cut the mustard anymore. He's a-getting too old. He done got too old. He's too old to cut the mustard anymore. My memory, it was always tough. I knew dates and times and all that stuff. Now that I'm old, things are getting rough. I can't remember.
What is it?
Where are you going?
Too old, he done got too old. He's too old to cut the mustard anymore.
Too old.
He's just too darn cranky and too old. He's too old to cut the mustard anymore.
Wow, what a crowd. Seeing you all here tonight makes my heart sing. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Maureen DeGarmo, married to that guy for 40 years. Thank you. Now, I want to tell you a couple of stories about what it's like to be a houseblend wife. There was a time in our marriage when Bill did not have a place to sing. And let me tell you, he was kind of grumpy about it. But in 1998, when Houseblend formed, all of that changed. He had a creative outlet. They could pick their own songs, make their own arrangements sometimes, change the words, make jokes, and props. So let me tell you how that happened. It belongs to Sue, by the way, this trunk. Bill and I were in Disneyland a few years after Houseblend formed, and we were on Main Street, and the Dapper Dans of Disneyland, which is a barbershop quartet, were singing outside, and they had a trunk. And I looked at that thing and I said, Bill, you could have a trunk. True story. So that became another creative outlet for Bill. All of the props. You see all their costume changes happening seamlessly up there? Got the trunk. Fast forward to 2016, and they had a concert at the Lesher. Man, what a night. When they sang the song they just finished, Too Old, and they got to the part where Bill says, of course, most of that's Jim, the crowd roared with laughter. And when we got home that night, Bill said to me, I felt like Jerry Seinfeld. Bringing joy to the audience. When we got home that night, he was floating 2 feet off the floor. And I want to thank all of you for helping us say goodbye to Houseblend.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you. Well, first, the facts. The seeds of Houseblend began after choir practice one Thursday night in 1998. Doug Amy was our choir director at that time, and he handed out copies of Ride the Chariot, our very first song that we worked on, which fittingly we programmed tonight at the end of our Houseblend career. Doug handed out copies to Bill, Jim, me, and to David Petty, who's in the back, and we ran through it that very night, and you know what? It didn't sound half bad. And that encouraged us to start rehearsing on a more regular schedule, and we added some songs, and we started using the very distinctive and creative name, the Men's Quartet. Yeah. Now, when David and Ruthie moved to Portland, Doug stepped in to fill the gap left by David, and at that time, we were still the Men's Quartet. But thankfully, Maureen DeGarmo, whom we just heard from, came up with the name Houseblend. Now, you might think that she was aiming for a coffee theme with that name, but there's actually more to it. Her idea behind Houseblend was to describe the idea that we are blending harmonies here in this house of God. So, Maureen, thank you for that brilliant and catchy name. It has served us so very well over the years. And speaking of Maureen, thanks to our wives for their patience and just incredible overflowing support. There are many reasons they are known as the Houseblend Widows, in light of all the rehearsals and performance times which took us away from our homes. Also, thanks to all of our fans over the decades and you who are here tonight to help us celebrate this end of our career. To Doug, I would say thank you for having the insight to hand out that copy of Ride the Chariot that night in 1998. That's what launched everything that followed. And thank you for joining the Men's Quartet at that time. After David moved away, your musical leadership helped keep us on pitch, even though we were only microtones off at times. That's a pain, but it's a real learning experience. Bill, your background as a theater major in college was the perfect preparation for this group. Your knowledge of costuming, blocking, stage presence, props, makeup, and of course, your terrific tenor voice. It was as if God was walking ahead of you when you studied all of those skills decades ago in college. Little did we know those skills would be put to such good use, making Houseblend a far better group than we would have been simply 4 guys standing up and singing a few songs. You made us actually entertaining. Thank you for that. Jim, you big goofball. Those of you who know Jim know that he's the smooth talker of this group. Your charm on stage and off stage no doubt got us more gigs and sold more CDs than the rest of us combined. We would not be as widely known if it were not for your persuasive skills and your magic in getting people to say, why, yes, I will hire you for our gig, or yes, I would like all 4 of your CDs. You are our main sales and marketing department. Thank you for carrying that load. We've accumulated a lot of accolades over the years. We've had some very successful showings at the San Francisco Harmony Sweepstakes, which is a major a cappella competition that covers all of Northern California, where we have twice won the Audience Favorite Award and came in second and third place in various years. We also appeared at least 3 times as the warm-up group for the late entertainer Alan Thicke. And we appeared in many variety shows and folly shows. But I'd like to talk about Houseblend's impact on others as well. This is an incomplete list of some of the nonprofits we've helped out with their fundraisers and social events, either for no pay or pretty low pay. Starting here at this church, Concord United Methodist Church, where we got our start. We've sung at many spaghetti dinners which support the youth group. We've sung at more than a decade's worth of community carol sings every December and in many spring concerts here. We've helped out other churches. I'm thinking of Pittsburgh United Methodist Church and their food pantry and hot lunch program that we help support with concerts over there, as well as other United Methodist congregations in the region that send construction and medical crews to serve the indigenous Mayan people in Guatemala. We've also supported many secular nonprofits like the Food Bank of Contra Costa and Solano counties, Opportunity Junction of Contra Costa County, Water for Life, the Contra Costa County Boys and Girls Club, the Marin County Film Festival, the Auxiliary at St. Luke's Medical Center in San Francisco, the American Association of University Women, just to name a few. But more importantly, we've had impacts on individuals. We've sung at nursing homes, we've sung at the bedside of hospice patients, we've sung at assisted living facilities, weddings, funerals, and private parties. And if you'll indulge me, I'd like to read excerpts from a few thank you notes we've received over the years. The first one is this: Saturday was such a special day for me. Needless to say, thanks to all of you for making it possible. Good friends stand with you on the mountaintop and applaud. Best friends walk with you and hold your hand when you walk through the valley. Thank you again for your enduring friendship, but mostly for your great music. And another person wrote to us, thank you so much for being a part of Mother's service. She loved all of you and the group that you are. As a family, we all want to express our appreciation, blessings on all of you. And finally, from a resident at the San Marco Skilled Nursing and Assisted Living Facility, she wrote, your appearance and serenading certainly brightened my stay at San Marco. But perhaps the best comments we ever received was one after one of our many shows at Rossmore, which is a large retirement community here in Contra Costa County. I was helping tear down the equipment following a show, and a lady walked up to me, and she said, I just want to thank you for the program today. My husband died 6 months ago, and today was the first day I've been able to laugh, and it felt so good to laugh again. Thank you for that. That, my friends, is my favorite Houseblend story. So may you go and do likewise. Fill the world with your harmony. It doesn't require you to be a singer. Uplift those who need uplifting. Offer a kind word to those who could use one. Make someone smile who hasn't been able to do so. Thank you, everyone, for this musical opportunity that went from the Men's Quartet to Houseblend. Well, that brings us to our next song. Many of you don't know that when we started as a group, we were a quintet. We had a fifth person in our group named Charlie, who lived in San Francisco. Now, most of, well, that wasn't funny, but lived in San Francisco, so he would come over here on BART because most of our rehearsals and performances are in Contra Costa. And so I was on my way to the BART station in Concord to pick up Charlie one day, and there was an announcement on the radio. And they announced that BART had raised their fares.
Well, Kent, that happens all the time. What's so unusual about that?
Well, the unusual thing about this one is the fare increase was effective immediately,
Oh.
even as to those passengers riding the train. Now, Charlie never carried any spare change in his pocket. We've not seen him since that day. We think he's stuck on the train, and this song tells his story. Let me tell you all the tale of a man named Charlie. It's a story to break your heart. He put $10 in his pocket, kissed his wife and family, went to ride on the local bus.
Did he ever return? Oh no, he never returned, and his fate is still unknown.
He may ride or ever underneath the city. He's the man who never returned.
Charlie handed in his ticket at MacArthur Station, and he changed to Concord, Maine. When he got there, the attendant told him one more dollar. Charlie couldn't get off that train.
But did he ever return? Oh no, he never returned, and his fate is still unknown.
He may ride or ever underneath the city. He's the man who never returned.
All night long, Charlie rides through the stations crying, "Somebody help me, please! How can I afford to see my sister in Fremont or my cousin in Hercules?"
Now Charlie's wife goes down to the Powell Street station every day at 2:15.
She goes to see him.
She blows him a kiss just before she goes shopping down at Saks Fifth Avenue. But did he ever return? Oh no, he never returned, and his fate is still unlearned.
He may ride forever underneath the city. He's the man who never returned.
So my friends, let's rise up and oppose the system, cause now is the time to start. March to Sacramento and complain to Gavin and get Charlie off of the march.
But did he ever return? Oh no, he never returned, and his fate is still unlearned.
He may ride forever underneath the city. He's the man who never returned. He's the man who never returned. A little bit softer. He's the man who never returned.
Be seeing you, Chuck.
I'd like to thank all the Houseblend wives for sharing. You know what? None of this happens without their support, really. In adding to Maureen's story, when I got out of college, I had toyed with the idea of being an actor, but I didn't want to live that lifestyle. So I had this plan, and the plan was that I was going to produce musicals on the community theater level. I did a report in a business class on it, and that was the idea. I needed to get established in business first, and then maybe once a year I would be able to, to feed those creative juices. Well, it was frustrating while I was waiting, and when Houseblend formed, the funny thing is, after about a year, I realized that what I had with Houseblend was better than anything I had imagined with the community theater. I mean, there's some really good reasons for it, which I'll get into in just a second, but the main reason is the personal stuff that happens. When you do a show and the curtain closes, okay, you have a cast party sometimes, but then sometimes you never see those people again. Well, with Houseblend, we just get ready for our next gig, which may not have been the greatest thing, except that we all became friends. That's very unusual. The Beatles didn't have that, by the way. But these three guys are three of my best friends. Let's start with Doug here. Yeah, Houseblend did change me, but Doug is the one that changed my life. when he came to this church in 1994, that was when I started to feel like I had a place to sing. With the exception of my first voice teacher, Doug has probably had more influence on me musically than anybody. Kent and I are probably the closest. I'm probably the closest to Kent because we're closest in age and we're kind of couple friends with Pam and Kent. We've actually been on vacation together, so we're pretty tight. And Jim, don't tell Jim I said this, but Jim is my hero. I want to be like Jim when I grow up. And I don't just mean because of the stuff that he can do at his age. Jim is one of the most generous people I know. And so I feel very grateful having not just worked with these guys, but having been friends with them for the last 24 years. So getting back to the theater versus house blend thing, I mean, Maureen had a good point. We got to pick our own music. You know, when you do a musical, even a really good one like Carousel, yeah, you get to do You'll Never Walk Alone and If I Loved You. But you also have to do This Was a Real Nice Clam Bake. Not always. With House Blend, we just picked the stuff we wanted to do. You know, plus we got to pick our comp. We got to decide what was funny and what we would say and wouldn't say. And of course, most importantly, where else do I get to play a superhero? And not just any superhero. I mean, my superhero. Yes, he can fly. Lots of them can fly. Yes, he has super strength. Who doesn't? Yes, he has X-ray vision. But my superhero has a superpower very few do. Mine is a tenor. Mr. Trouble never hangs around when he hears that mighty sound. Here I come to save the day.
That means that Mighty Mouse is on his way.
Yes, sir, when there is a wrong to right,
Mighty Mouse will join the fight on the sea or on the land.
he gets the
Situation well in hand. So though we are in danger, we never despair, 'cause we know that where there's danger, he is
there.
He is there on the land, on the sea, in the air. No,
We're not worried at all. We're just
listening for his call.
Here I come to save the day. That means that
Mighty Mouse is on his way. So though we are in danger, we never despair, 'cause we know that where there's danger, he is there. He is there on the land, on the sea. He is there on the land, on the sea, in the air.
I am on my way.
No,
We're not worried at all. We're just
listening for his call.
Save the day. That means that
Mighty Mouse is on the here I come to save the day.
Well, I guess it's my time to say a few words, and they'll be few.
I need to tell you, you noticed that everyone that came up here, they had notes and stuff, and they'd been practicing and memorizing. I haven't done this yet. The reason why is then I can't forget it, right? So that works for me. I just have a couple of things. You know, Bill was talking about this is going to get pretty embarrassing very quickly. Bill was talking about some of the things that have happened or that relate to us because we've been together for so long, and I got to thinking about that, and I put it together, the number of hours that we have spent in practices or in performance over the 24 years we've been together. It comes to about 2.5 years of working 40 hours a week, 52 weeks out of the year, no vacation, and you don't work in the same office with someone. You work right side by side of them, shoulder to shoulder, nose to nose. You're working that way for 2.5 years. You have a 40-hour work week with these guys. That's pretty amazing. Can you imagine doing that with Bill? Well, yeah. And then, well, okay. One other thing also, when we have our rehearsals, we rehearse, and then, like someone said, we have beer and popcorn afterward or something. So I figured that out. It comes to about 700 six-packs. That's what we've done. Okay, so we've had 2.5 years of 40-hour weeks and about 700 six-packs. And you know what? I wouldn't change it for a moment. This has been the greatest thing in my life. So thank you, Houseblend. You'll notice that when singing groups come, and they sing for your church or they sing for some program or something, and it seems like they always have songs in a foreign language, if you notice. And we did too, didn't we? We did 2 songs in Italian. But not to be outdone, we're going to sing a song right now that has 26 different languages in it. And you'll recognize most of them. That's one. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps
Near the village, the peaceful village, the lion sleeps tonight. Near the village, the peaceful village, the lion sleeps tonight.
My darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight. Hey, hey,
Thank you. Thank you. Well, as we all know, everything in life seems to come to an end, and that includes this concert as well as our career as House Blend. So, gosh, thank you all so very much for being here. It means so much to all of us. And so we'd like to leave you with this blessing from us to you.
May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rain fall soft upon your fields, and until we meet again, may the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rain fall soft upon your fields, and until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
Yeah, tell them about the food and the CDs. You've been told about the CDs. The food is going to be over in Sherrill Hall. I don't know, Jim said that they've got tons of food over there, so you better come and help us eat it, okay?
Shrimp platters, croissants.
Shrimp, oh boy, all right. Okay, so please join us over there afterward. It's so nice to see old friends again and to be with you all again. We really weren't planning on an encore at all, and we didn't have anything ready for it. But we do have a song that we could maybe sing to you, and it tells you everything that we feel about you.
Bum, 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 bum.
Whoa, we must say goodbye. Whoa,
Say goodbye.
whoa, we must say
must say
goodbye
goodbye
to
to
you. We'll miss you.
Miss you.
We hope you'll miss us too.
What else can we do? We are inspired by you. You are the reason for the songs we sing.
Songs we sing.
For the songs we sing.
Songs we sing.
Whoa, you're the song we sing to one and all. You're the greatest song of all.
We really need you. We are inspired by you. You are the reason for the songs we sing.
And though this is our last song tonight, this time that we spend just seems oh so. We've sung for many people before, but you are the best, more than we hope for.
So we sing goodbye, it seems, but we'll hold you in our dreams.
So here's our last song. We think you ought to know that you're the very reason for the songs we sing.
You are our song,
The very reason that we sing.
Go eat, go eat, go eat. We'll see you there.